Good evening. Welcome to Satsang. I'm happy that we have another English online Satsang tonight. If you are here in Satsang for the very first time, I would like to tell you a few things about what we are doing here. Here in Satsang, you can ask me questions if you like about your life, about your spiritual path, and I will try to answer and say a little bit about it. I have been with my spiritual master Soham since over 25 years, and since 7.5 years I do the Samarpan meditation, and I'm a disciple of Shiv Kripanand Swamiji, an Indian guru. And somehow, during all these years, some things I learned. I don't know how it happened. And I just try to share and just pass on a little bit of that what I was allowed to learn in all these years. Actually, I cannot even tell you anything you don't already know. Actually, Satsang is about reminding you about things you somehow already knew by yourself. You just forgot. Yeah, so this is what we are doing here. And you can ask me a question via the YouTube chat or the chat in Zoom. You can also talk to me via Zoom if you like. And if there are no questions from the online participants live, I have a few emails which I can read and answer these emails. Yes, and this is what we are doing here now for 1.5 hours until 9:30. And I'm really happy that we can be here together. You know, Satsang is not really about what is being spoken. Although this is the interesting part. That's why you come here, that's why you listen. But that what happens is invisible. It has nothing to do with the words. It's something which happens between my soul and your soul, and between the souls of all those who are participating. And nobody can understand this. And that's why it's not important that you understand something. It's not important that you have the feeling that you learn something. It's also not important that you remember something at the end of Satsang. Basically, it's just about experiencing yourself while you're here with me, while you're here with all of us. And that's enough. That what happens by itself. It does not depend on you remembering or understanding anything. And yet it's interesting to talk about the questions and to answer the questions. And that's why I'm here tonight. Yeah. So, Simone, do you have something you want to read out?
Not yet, Michael, no.
Hello, by the way. I'm happy that you are here, Simone. And I'm happy that all of you guys are here. Very lovely.
It's good to be here, thank you.
Before I start reading out an email, let me talk a little bit about Samarpan meditation. This is the meditation I'm talking about in most of my videos at some point. And there's a reason for this. I was, as I mentioned earlier, or I am since 25 years with my spiritual master, and I was with him already 17 years, 18 years, and I was happy, and I had learned so much. I was in peace with myself, and I thought I had the best life a human being can have. I didn't miss anything. I didn't look for anything. I didn't look for a guru. I didn't look for a meditation. But then, by pure chance, of course it wasn't chance, it was destiny, so to speak, Swamiji, this Indian guru who brings the Samarpan meditation into society, came into my life. And with him came the Samarpan meditation. And I started the meditation. I started listening to Swamiji. And then my life changed completely. Although I had already been happy. I already had been totally content and living in the truth. But this changed everything for me. And that's why I talk about it all the time. This simple, easy meditation, which everybody can do, changes your life without you having to have any special capabilities, without you having to change your life, without you having to be smart or wise. It doesn't cost anything. It's not difficult. Yeah, and that's why I talk about it all the time. And I invite you to start this meditation and try it out for yourself if you feel the energy for this. Yeah, and that's the special properties about the Samarpan meditation, that you do not have to change anything if you want to pick up this meditation. You don't have to drop your religion or pick up another religion. You don't have to stop smoking or drinking or stop having sex or anything like this. Yeah, you can just continue living the way you are. And you can continue being the way you are. And you just add this meditation to your life, to your everyday life. And you do it once a day, and that's enough. And everything changes by itself. It's really a miracle. Yeah, this is as a little preface, so you understand why I talk about this meditation so often. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with an email. So this is a comment actually I received on YouTube. A comment where a man reports to me about his experiences with the Samarpan meditation. And this is his comment. Tonight is my 7th night without drinking alcohol. I haven't had any difficulties in these 7 days. I just wake up a few times during the night, that's all. And I use these awakenings as an opportunity to meditate. Even though I have been drinking alcohol regularly for the last 20 years, I guess I am not an alcoholic. I don't have any negative effects, such as tremors, nervousness, or anything like that. Even though I don't drink alcohol anymore. Thank you, Mr. Dian. Thank you so much for your lovely comment. Yeah, I would like to use this comment as an opportunity to mention 2 things. One of the magic things about Samarpan meditation is that it makes things which have been very difficult for you, or which could be potentially very difficult for you, much easier. It's like when you start the Samarpan meditation, you are not alone anymore. You don't know how this is possible, but on a soul level, on a subtle level, you are connected with a huge crowd of holy souls. This is how Swamiji describes it. And in this collectivity of souls, everything is easier. You don't know anything about this, but it helps anyway. when you start meditating, you become more aware. You become more sensitive. And this could be potentially difficult because you start feeling things you might not have felt before, or suddenly you stop drinking, or maybe you stop smoking, or you stop something which was difficult for you until now. And this could be potentially very intense. But it becomes so much easier when you don't do it alone, when you do it while you're meditating. And maybe this is one of the reasons why you have such an easy time with this change in your life which happens right now. And there's a second thing I would like to mention to you. In the meditation, you don't take anything personal. You let go of your thoughts. That's what you do during the meditation. You don't worry about the thoughts which seem to be so urgent during the day. And it's like you create a distance to those things which are connected with the body, the thoughts, the feelings, and the body itself. And when you start meditating, after a while, you experience beautiful things. For instance, that what you report, that suddenly bad habits which you had all your life or since many, many years, they suddenly drop away. And I recommend to you that you also do not take this personal. Yeah? Just take it as a gift. You can be happy about it, but don't take it personal. This means don't think that you did this, and be always open for everything. Yeah? It's lovely when something like this happens, but tomorrow be open for everything again, no matter what that means. Yeah? This is Samarpan. This name, Samarpan meditation, means surrender, let go. And it's first we learn to let go of the difficult things. This is relatively easy because we don't particularly enjoy the difficult things. But then when the beautiful things happen, we also let go of those again and again and again, as if they don't have anything to do with us. And then you stay clean. Then you are not attached to anything. Yeah, so just enjoy what's happening, but don't think about it and don't take it personal. Thank you for your comment. I'm so happy that you are here. Simone, can I go on?
Yes, you can go on, please.
Here is another comment I received on YouTube from a man whom I answered in a video. Dear Michael, I misunderstood your words. If you listen to your video, it sounds like you shit on everything which has to do with drugs. The word drugs itself has a negative vibration. It would be better to say plant medicine. I agree with you 100% that it can be a very slippery road if you abuse those substances. I have been there. It can open your eyes to our true nature, but if you chase that experience, you will be addicted. I received this comment on a video where I talked about the fact that on this spiritual path, on this path to the inside, on this discovery of your soul and of heaven, there are no shortcuts. You have to do your homework, and there is no shortcut, no trick. And in that video I mentioned that some people use drugs or plant medicine, if you like, to have experiences they otherwise don't have. Because they believe that this shows them something about their true nature. They believe that this opens them up and that this helps on the spiritual path. And in that video I said that although you can have lovely experiences with herbs or drugs, all these substances, they don't really help you. It's an illusion that they help. In the best case, they don't do you harm. But no matter what kind of experience you have, maybe it motivates you to go on the spiritual path, but then you have to start in the beginning again. It doesn't save you anything. What I have seen with people who did this is that it made it more difficult and not easier. And the reason is simple, It's not about having certain experiences. The spiritual path is not about reaching a point where you have some grand experiences, and through the experience, then you become wise and enlightened and happy. No. What happens on that path is that slowly, you become sensitive again. More and more sensitive. Slowly. And the more sensitive you become, the more you become able to feel the subtle things again. Very, very subtle things. That's the things of your inside. Your soul is something very subtle. Heaven is something very, very subtle and quiet. Now, if you are not sensitive, you can take drugs and it will change your perception for a short amount of time. But afterwards, you are even less sensitive than before. You used a hammer, and a hammer, something very loud, doesn't make you more sensitive. But if you don't do anything, if you become quiet and start feeling the subtle things, this very slowly makes you more sensitive. And this is what's needed. This is what's happening on the spiritual path. And that's why it takes time. But this is not to say that there's anything negative about herbs or spiritual drugs. If you feel like experimenting with it, go for it. I didn't say that anything is wrong with it, and I certainly don't say that there's anything wrong with people who like to experiment with these things. But I just tell you, it's not the short way. It's not the easy way. That's the only thing I want to tell you. Because people believe, this is a help, this is easy. And I just tell you, this is not true. You do not make it easier for yourself. But if you feel like it, you have to try it out. I know this. Yeah. So go for it. Thank you for your comment. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you.
I have no question, Michael.
No question?
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice. I have to make you louder. One moment.
Mhm.
Okay. Now.
The question is from Michael.
Hello, Michael. Good evening. I'm happy that you're here. Hello.
Hello, Michael. My question is about relationships. I have struggled all my life with them, and I have started to isolate more and more because I don't know how I can handle these difficulties. Many fears arise. I've tried many different things, meditation, therapy, and so on. Maybe I need to be alone for a while. I really don't know what to do. I don't want to be alone. I long for a relationship. Can you say anything about this? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your question. Your question touches the core issue of most human beings. That's why I'm so touched. And it was my issue too. You see, you say you struggled with relationships all of your life, and you say that they are difficult for you, and you don't know how to make them work. But you long for a relationship because you have a hard time being alone. The problem is not that relationship is difficult for you. I will tell you why relationship is difficult for you in a moment. But first, I would like to point out to you what the real challenge is. The challenge is not the relationship. The challenge is being alone. You cannot be alone. Let me translate this. You cannot be with yourself. Now, if you cannot be with yourself, it's impossible to be with somebody else. It's impossible. Once you learn to be with yourself, it's easy to be with other people. But then you don't need it anymore. But then it's fun. And I just told you, I'm so touched because this was my issue too. When I came to my spiritual master Soham 25 years ago or 26 years ago, I was with him for a short time when we had a conversation together. And I told him about my relationship challenges. And back then, 25 years ago, he said, Michael, your issue is being alone. You cannot be alone. And I was shocked when he told me this, because I didn't know anything about this. You are wiser than I was back then. You say, it's difficult for you to be alone. I didn't even know this. And once he pointed this out to me, and once I looked at it, I realized he's right. Then I began to see all the things I always do, all the time, to avoid being alone. So your challenge is becoming capable of being with yourself. That's the meaning of being alone. being with yourself. How do you do this? It's very simple. You can practice this right now, or tonight before you go to bed, or tomorrow. You just close your eyes and you see who's there. What do you meet when you come close to yourself? The first thing you meet is your feelings. Loneliness, maybe fear, all kinds of feelings. Maybe you meet a lot of thoughts in your head. Ignore the thoughts, don't worry about them at all. But if you meet feelings, be with them. Quietly, friendly. That's the beginning. What you stumble upon tonight with your question or what you just told me is your biggest and only challenge in this life. You just discovered why you are here in this life. That's the only thing you need to learn. There's nothing else to learn. And it's worth it, I tell you. Learn how to be with yourself. Learn what that means. Learn how this feels like. And it feels different every day, every moment. I started learning to be with myself 26 years ago. And I will keep learning this for the rest of my life. This learning which you start today will bring you to the goal of your life. On this discovery, you will meet first the Michael you think you are, and then the soul you truly are. But start with Michael. Start with the feelings. Start with being alone physically and experience how this is. You see, up till today, you try to avoid this. Up till today, you try to run away from the situation where you are alone with yourself. And you try this by being with other people or being with a woman, or maybe you drink alcohol or you smoke or you do constant activity, whatnot. There are many ways to distract yourself from yourself. But when you just switch off the TV, you switch off your phone, you're alone, you take a walk alone in the woods, or you meditate, and just be with you, with yourself. Just start this. You cannot do this wrong. And when you want to learn how to be with yourself, you will discover how that works. It was the same for me. I was exactly at the same spot like you. What I did not have when this path started for me was the Samarpa meditation. This meditation I only discovered 7 years ago. But this is a great help. This is like a catalyst. Start meditating every morning, half an hour. This is the shortcut. I was just answering this one comment from YouTube about drugs. that drugs are a detour. Nothing wrong with a detour. Yes, some people really like it, but this meditation, this is the shortcut. This is the fastest way to meet yourself, and the easiest way. Yeah. And once you met yourself, yeah, or let me say it this way, once you begin to meet yourself, then your relationship with other people change completely. Because then you don't try to abuse these other people as a distraction. Then you can be with yourself. It's like you are at home, and from there, meeting other people is a totally different game. So don't worry about relationships with a woman or with friends or other people. The only relationship which you need to take care of is the relationship you have with yourself. If that relationship is good, everything else happens by itself, miraculously. And the easiest way is the Samatha meditation for this. This is the biggest shortcut, the best shortcut I can recommend. And if you have more questions about this, I'm totally happy to hear from you, either in this satsang or later via email or letter or however you like. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
I have no other question at the moment, Michael. Okay.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you. Okay, then I read another email. This is an email from a lady in the United States. Dear Michael, I must say that I'm growing more and more confused. In your last German satsang, you speak about inviting the sadness. You know, since I'm doing the Samatha meditation, whenever I have any uncomfortable feelings, which usually is connected with too much thinking, I tell myself I'm a holy soul. And I try to go to the crown chakra. And that somehow sometimes stills the mind and reminds me that I'm not this bundle of thoughts about my life and the dysfunctional life of my daughter. It really helps me to get away from the thoughts. But when you spoke about inviting the sadness, about being close to yourself, I all of a sudden viscerally felt my body, and I did feel close to myself in this body consciousness. Feelings are felt in the body, are they not? Soham spoke about this exclusively in the past, until he encouraged us to be in the crown chakra 24 hours a day, if we can. Now, we are told that all the time that we are not this body, that we are a soul. Yet this feeling close to myself definitely has to do with the body for me. How can we be in both places at the same time? I feel split, like I'm being pulled between two poles, the body and the crown chakra. So I don't know where to place my awareness. It is very unrestful. What does it mean when you say to be close to yourself, and how do you do this? Thank you. Thank you for your question. I'm very, very happy to receive questions when you are confused and when it's not clear to you what all this is about. It's like this. When you can go to the crown chakra, when you can meditate the Samarpan meditation, when you are able to ignore your thoughts, then you just go with your awareness, with your consciousness to the crown chakra and you rest there. And from there you live your life. There you meditate, and for the rest 23.5 hours of the day, you just rest there with your awareness and you live your life from there. And you don't have to worry about feelings or anything else because you rest in yourself. This is when you are there. But when you are not able to do this, because you identify with the story of your life, you have strong feelings about something and you take them personal. And this means you think they are important. You think, I can't meditate right now. I can't be in the crown chakra. I have to take care of this and that terrible thing. This is very important. These feelings, these fears, these stories, they keep you locked in your thoughts. The feelings itself are no problem whatsoever. It doesn't matter what you feel. But then you start thinking about it and you take it serious and important. And then there's no way you can go into meditation or to the crown chakra. And when you find yourself in this position, then the best way to handle it is to make peace with the feelings. Because if you have no problem with the feeling, it's like you diffuse the thoughts. Then the thoughts don't have any power over you. You see, the only power the thoughts have is that they create feelings in you which you don't like or which you are scared of. Where you think, oh, they mean something. This is not a good sign. I have to do something about it. And then the thoughts have you. They have your attention. So the feelings are not important. Only when your mind is able to trick you into giving your thoughts attention because of feelings you have, then just feel the feeling, just make peace with the feeling, invite it. Then you find out, hey, I just invited the sadness. The sadness is totally close. And I'm still alive, no problem. And then whatever the thoughts tell you don't have any power over you anymore. And then you can meditate again. And then you can rest in the crown chakra, no matter what you feel. So feeling the feelings is just an exercise to make you capable of ignoring the thoughts and just doing what's best, resting in the crown chakra and meditate or live your day from there. And when you go to the crown chakra, it's not that the thoughts become bearable because you do this. No. When you go with your attention into the crown chakra, you ignore the thoughts. You don't give them attention. And that's the relief. It doesn't matter how strong the thoughts are, how serious they are, how many thoughts there are. It doesn't matter at all if you don't give them attention. If I don't give my thoughts attention, I don't know how many thoughts are there and what they tell me. I don't care. My attention is somewhere else. And this is why you live in the crown chakra. The thoughts can be there. Who cares? Just don't pay any attention to them. This email has one more paragraph, which I would like to read out. In his Mahashivratri discourse, Swamiji guided us through a meditation. He led us through all the chakras, up to the crown chakra. When we had reached there, he said something like, "Now be aware of how your body is connected to the earth." This relates to my question. How can I stay with my attention in the crown chakra and at the same time have it on my body and the earth? I feel like the mind is fluttering back and forth between two places, and there's no peace. You see, when you do the Samarpan meditation, and I know that you do it, when you rest in the crown chakra, when you don't pay attention to the thoughts, then you don't have anything to do with the body. You feel that the body is there. Maybe the body is aching or itching. Maybe the body is nervous or doesn't want to sit still while you meditate in the crown chakra. But you meditate in the crown chakra. What the thoughts do, what your body does, is of no importance to you. You are not the body. When you rest in the crown chakra, you are not your body. I cannot explain to you how Swamiji meant his words. If you want to know this, you need to ask him. But I can tell you how I understand these words. Or let me put it another way, because I listened to this amazing discourse myself. I want to tell you how I experienced his words. I rested in the crown chakra when he said these words about, and now feel how your body is connected to the earth, and the earth takes everything from the body, all the heavy, all the negativity. It all is being sucked up by the earth. And I experienced it like a liberation. I have nothing to do with the body. I don't have to take care of this body. The earth does it. I always feel this body. It's not that I run around all day long not feeling this body because I'm so holy or so enlightened. No, I feel this body all the time. Also during the meditation, most of the time, I feel the presence of this body. This is not a problem. The question is, who am I? Where is my attention? Right now I feel my hands moving, I feel my body sitting here. My awareness and my attention is in the crown chakra. My awareness is not even with you, not even with the camera. I'm connected to you through my soul. Yeah? And yet I feel my body. I see the camera. I'm speaking. I don't know who speaks. My awareness is in the crown chakra. I don't know how this all here is possible. I don't know. I have nothing to do with it. And that's the meaning of Swamiji's words as I understand them. And you can try this in your next meditation. You sit there, you close your eyes, you go with your awareness into the crown chakra, and you tell Mother Earth, okay, I meditate now. You take care of the body. during this time, as you always do. Thank you. And that's the truth. This body is part of the earth, and the earth takes care of it. Thank you for your question. I totally appreciate it.
Michael, I have a new question to read out.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you, Simone.
So, the question is from someone's name is Soul on YouTube.
I didn't understand the word. Is that the name?
The question is from a person whose name is Soul on YouTube.
Soul. Oh, Soul. That's a nice name.
Yes.
I like it. Hello, Soul. Nice to meet you.
Dear Michael, if someone hurts me, should I just do my inner homework and feel my feelings? Or does it also make sense from a spiritual point of view to report back what a letter has triggered in me, for example? I really like the person and don't want anything to come between us. I hope this question is not too general. Thank you.
Thank you. What does he hope? That the question is not too
general?
No, there are no questions which are too general. Thank you. I tell you how I do this. And I learned this from my master. When somebody triggers me, I like the word triggering me better than hurting me, because the other person doesn't hurt me. The other person does something, say a word or not say something, or the other person does something or does not do something. And that triggers a pain in me. And what I do is, I feel the pain. And most of the time, the other person doesn't even realize that I am in pain, and the other person doesn't know anything about what I'm doing. Because I'm doing it willingly. I'm doing it so willingly that there's no reaction to the outside. And when I'm totally in peace with what was triggered inside of me, and then there is still the urge to tell this other person about it, then I do it. However, in the last 25 years, it never happened that after I was totally in peace with what was triggered in me, that I wanted to talk about it. You see, wanting to talk about it is always because I'm not done with what happens inside of me. Once you're done with it, there is no need to talk about it at all. Once you are in peace with your own pain, it's your pain. Yeah? It's not the pain the other person gives you. It's your pain. Once you're in peace with this, why would you want to talk about it one more time? You are done with it. And you ask how this is from a spiritual point of view. Let me quote Jesus. He has a very clear recommendation for this. Yeah, you want to talk about this other person so it doesn't happen one more time. Yeah? Maybe you are willing to feel the pain, but then you want to do something so it doesn't happen again. You want the other person to change. You want the other person to be different, so you don't have to go through this experience one more time. But when you really do your homework, and you are in peace with the feeling which got triggered, then you don't care. Then the other person can do it again 10 times. You don't care. Because you're in peace with it. And that's why Jesus said the following. He said, if somebody slaps you on the one cheek, give him the other cheek as well. This means feel your pain and don't worry about whether it happens again. You make peace with Jesus always talked about the inside. He didn't talk about a fist fight. Yeah? He talked about that what happens inside of us, our emotions, our inside world. This was the world of Jesus. And he said, if something hurts you, accept it. And don't worry about it happening again. Be willing for anything. That was his advice. It's timeless advice. And this is good advice for 2 reasons. It helps you to do what you need to learn to make peace with yourself. The pain which gets triggered in you is a part of yourself, a part you don't want right now. And once you make peace with it, then you will understand why this is not a problem. In fact, it is a gift. But you will only discover this when you are willing to make peace with these feelings. And the second effect of this good advice is that if you do this, if you take responsibility for all of the feelings which happen inside of you, then life with other people is so simple, so easy. But if I want you to change, so I don't feel pain, so I don't feel irritation or fear or abandonment, whatever, then it gets very complicated. And it's not that when you proceed on the spiritual path that you don't have these feelings anymore. My experience is such. The body stays the same. The psyche stays the same. Yeah. My partner, she only has to say one sentence in a funny way, which somehow triggers something in me, and I have very strong feelings. But we never talked about it. Why? I just feel my feelings. They have nothing to do with her. They are much, much older. So the body and the psyche doesn't change. It's not that these feelings don't happen anymore. But I'm not scared of the feelings anymore. They have nothing to do with me. I can smile about them because they're so persistent, such a persistent part of this body and this psyche. There's no reason to be irritated, but the body loves to be irritated or scared. But now I can just allow this to happen, and it's not a problem. And in a way, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't have a problem feeling scared, or irritated, or upset, or angry, or alone. The peace comes not by the absence of the triggered things. The peace comes by acceptance. You accept everything which happens inside of you, And then you discover, wow, it's not a problem. All the things you run away from, all the things you want to avoid, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you accept it, not think about acceptance, not imagining how it would be, no. I'm talking about something existential. Once you actually accepted it, then you understand what I'm talking about. Not before. And that's why the wise people say, those people who trigger you, they bring you the gifts. They do you the favor. Yeah? That's why we pick those people as partners. They help us so much to make peace with all the things we have buried in our cellar deep down. Yeah. They're being brought up to the light, and then we can accept them. And then everything is fine. Then we are free. Then we can meditate. Thank you for your lovely question. Thank you very much.
I have no more question at the moment, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Simone. So I will read out the next email. Many thanks for your videos. For me, they are a real blessing. I have listened and started doing the Samarpan meditation. I started to feel really good. In the past, I have been involved with partying and drinking, sometimes drugs as well. And sometimes I felt lost. And that's why I tried Samarpan meditation. Listening to your videos is a great joy for me, and I thank you. But now I've started again with my old life, getting into this being all night out, drinking and partying again. And it seems to be worse than ever before. I even started to get into a fight during the last couple of times. I am still doing meditation every day, sometimes twice a day. And I'm not skipping one day. My wife tells me that I'm changed, but she cannot tell what's happening with me. Can you please tell something about this? Is my old me fighting for its life and the new me is on the way? I am still staying positive and saying yes with joy to whatever is happening with me in my life. Thank you so very much for your email. This is really good news. This is really good news that you still meditate. What you experience is exactly how it works. You see, we have these things in our life. Often people wonder, why do I have such a difficult life? Why do I have all these things which make my life so hard? And it's exactly because of this. Because otherwise you would never start meditating. Most people begin meditation because they look for relief from the difficulty of life. Meditation will bring this relief, but much more. But the initial motivation is that, just like in your case. And this is perfect. And then you start the meditation, and everything is beautiful. And then the homework starts. Then all the things you know about yourself, all the things which are not yet dealt with, they all come up. You know, every person brings into this life a box with tasks. Asians call this karma. You have a few things to experience so you can lose your ego. And once you pick up meditation, once you turn to your true self, to your soul, although in the beginning you don't even know what you're doing there, then all these tasks which are still open, they come. And now is the task for you is now to meditate and to be the way you are, and not to change this. Accept how you are, including the partying, including the drinking, including being stupid and picking a fight, although it might not be necessary at all. The drinking is not the problem. The partying is not the problem. The fighting is not the problem. But there are things we are not in peace with. We are not in peace with ourselves, and that's why we cannot be close to ourselves. And now comes the time where you start making peace with all of this. Just don't worry about how you are. You can just ignore how you are. You can stop thinking about how you are. Swamiji puts it all together in one sentence. He says, don't change. Don't try to change, but meditate. And then you experience what you experience right now. Through the meditation, you become more aware. It's like your eyes open. And then you experience the same things you always did. You drink too much, you party, you fight. But now you experience it with open eyes. You cannot do anything about it. It's not that you can prevent anything. And this is not needed. It's not your job to change. It's not your job to prevent yourself from doing stupid or unnecessary things. And it's also not your job to do better things. This is a Christian misunderstanding. This does not work. No, your job is much simpler. You meditate, and through the meditation, you come closer to yourself, you become more aware, you can see more. And the closer you come to yourself, the more you see about yourself. And then you let everything be the way it is. You just add this awareness to it. And that's what changes everything. It's not that you do it, but through your awareness, through this new way of experiencing how you are and how your life is, something happens by itself. And that's enough. And you can trust this. And then we come into very funny situations, and I guess this is what you're experiencing right now. You become more aware, and then you notice what you are doing there. And you can clearly see, what am I doing there? It's stupid, and it's unnecessary, and I don't even enjoy it. And yet you do it. And that's okay. Just be in peace with it. Don't change. Don't worry about it. Just meditate and live your life like you always did. The miracles happen indirectly. You don't do them. And something else I want to tell you. Your wife can sense that something's happening with you. You cannot. Yeah? You feel more stupid than before. You feel more wrong than before, because now you are more aware of how you actually are. you cannot see any progress. You cannot see any betterment. For the one who is meditating, it's difficult because more and more you have the feeling, oh my God, I've never been so stupid in my entire life. It's getting worse and worse every day. This is how it feels. But this is only a subjective view. This is not the truth. But other people, they notice, oh wow, what's going on with this guy? Suddenly, they notice something about you which they never noticed before. But you are the last person who can notice this. I'm on this path since 26 years. I meditate since 7.5 years. There are people who like what I share. There are people who like to watch my videos. They think I'm a great guy. I experience myself completely different, just like you experience yourself. From the inside, I'm just as stupid and funny as I've always been. That's the way it is. That's why Swamiji says, do not judge the meditation. You cannot know what's happening. It's like, when you are like a seed which God puts into the earth. Yeah, and God knows exactly what He's doing, what she's doing. Yeah? God knows you will sprout and grow. But you can't see anything. You are down in the earth, there's no light, you don't see anything. And then the little seed sprouts. But it's all dark, you don't know anything about what's happening with you. And then the seed grows roots. The seed grows roots for many days and weeks, but you don't know anything about it. You still don't see any light. And then the seed gets bigger and the first leaves come out, but it's still all in the earth. And you think you do something wrong and nothing is happening. You're the same idiot like always. But in reality, you are growing since lifetimes. It is like this. And when you notice the first time that actually there's something good happening with me, this good is happening since such a long time. It just is like this. For everybody, by the way. Thank you. I'm so happy about your email. Thank you very much. Keep going. Just meditate. And don't worry at all about what you're doing. Just bring your awareness to it. And don't worry about it whatsoever. Thank you.
Michael, I have one more question now to read out.
Oh, lovely.
The question is from Sida.
Sida, good evening. I'm happy that you are here.
Dearest Michael, I'm doing the Samarkand meditation since almost 1 year. I do it because I needed some help in a crisis in my life and because I was drawn to it since many years. Now I'm very happy that I stick to it. It somehow fits with me. But I have no idea if I came already closer to my soul. I just meditate as good as I can. The only problem is that sometimes I skip 1 or 2 days without meditation. This happens when my feelings of fear and problem of skipping days. Thank you so much. Love, Sida.
Would you please read the last sentence again?
This happens when my feelings of fear and problem of skipping days. I think it's not proper sentence.
Okay, doesn't matter. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Sida. I'm so happy to hear from you.
Sorry, she added something.
Yes, please.
When My feelings of fear and desperation are too strong.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. I just said to the gentleman I answered before, you cannot know what's happening with you. And this is the truth. And we cannot imagine this. That's why I often say in my videos that the only thing you need is patience. Or even better, stubbornness. You just meditate. You just keep meditating every day, every day, every day. And you don't have any feeling of progress. There will be a time where you feel the progress. There will be a time where you clearly experience, wow, this situation I would have experienced very different in the past. But in the beginning, you don't notice anything. It really is as if you are a seed in the earth and you have no clue what's going on. That's why you need some funny guy like me who tells you over and over again, yeah, everything is fine, you're beautiful, don't worry. What you experience is normal. That's why you have a guru. That's why you have a master. So you have a hand. Yeah, you have a hand. So you don't feel alone. And that you can trust that what you know. I mean, you know that this is the right way for you. I don't have to tell you this. Yeah. So this is perfectly normal. And it's also perfect that you picked up the meditation because you just wanted to get relief from your crises. This is perfect. In reality, your soul has navigated you towards this meditation since a long time. And now you're here. Just keep meditating. And don't worry about having skipped days. It's not a problem. But don't do it. Meditate every day. And I want to tell you what I do when I have feelings which I believe I can't meditate with. I take these feelings with me into the meditation and I bring them to God. And I mean it literally. Yeah. As if I'm a helpless little child. I take this feeling and I say, I go to the crown chakra and I say, God, look at me. This is how I am. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Here, take it. Yeah, this is how I feel. I'm sorry, I can't be any other way. Yeah. Accept me like this. You cannot accept yourself the way you are in these moments. I know this. But God can. Just take the feeling with you, bring it into your crown chakra. And say, here, God, I cannot meditate like this with this feeling. Here, you take it. And now let me meditate. There's nothing which cannot be brought into meditation. We believe there are things which prevent us from meditating. Sometimes there's a feeling where I think, this doesn't fit. I can't go to God like this. Yes, you can. And I really have good experiences with my child, with a childish way of handling these feelings. God never rejected me once. Maybe you want to try this. Yeah. Don't worry. Everything is fine. I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you, Siddha.
There is another question from Michael to the
Yes.
Samadhi meditation.
Yes, please.
I don't know if I do the meditation right. Can you explain the Samadhi meditation and how I do it? Thank you very much.
Yes, sure. It's very simple. You can't do it wrong. You sit down, and Swamiji says it's good if you have either your base chakra on the ground, like I sit cross-legged here. Now, if you can sit cross-legged, so your bum is on the ground, this is very good for meditation. And if you cannot do this, just sit on a chair with your feet on the ground. And when the feet can be naked, this is great for the grounding. But this is all not important. Just sit in some way you feel comfortable with. The only thing which is not recommended is when you lay down. Just sit. And then you close your eyes. And you go with your awareness up here to the crown chakra. Here, this is this highest spot of the skull. And what you can do in the beginning, if you like, is you can take your hand, your flat hand, and you make 3 circles clockwise here on the crown chakra. This simply is to make you feel the spot better. It activates it, it makes it warm. And because your hand was there, your attention naturally stays there. And yet, then you just stay there with your awareness, with your attention, with your eyes closed. And you sit like this for half an hour. And during this time you don't think, you don't do anything. This is a half an hour where you just don't do anything. And then you will notice that it's not easy to not do anything. You notice that suddenly you give attention to your thoughts. Or you notice that your body is itching and trying to get your attention. Your body tells you, oh, I don't want to sit any longer. Your thoughts tell you, you can't sit there any longer. There's something urgent to do, and so on, and so on, and so on. And you ignore all this. Whenever this happens, whenever you notice that you have been distracted away from the crown chakra, you just ignore it and return. Without one more thought, without blaming yourself, without thinking, I did it wrong. You just return. And if you have to do this 10 times during this half an hour, it doesn't matter. If you have to do it 10,000 times, it doesn't matter. It's not about staying there. You know, it's like you can't stay there. You can't hold on to this. You just can go there and you are there. And the next thing you know is you are somewhere else with your attention. So you just return. It's easy. The only thing which makes it difficult is that we start thinking about it. Then we think, oh, I did it wrong, and I should not think, and I will never learn it. Yeah, this is the only problem, that we think about it. But in reality, there's no problem. That's what you do for half an hour. It's like you are alone up there. You don't bring anybody. Yeah. If you remember somebody, you are thinking, forget it. You come back up here. There you are alone. And then you notice that you talk out to yourself or to somebody else. Then you're in your thoughts again. And then you return into the quietness. And that's what you practice. That's it. Totally simple. For half an hour. And there's there are two things which I want to mention which you need to know. The one thing is, it's important that you do this meditation without any expectations. Don't expect something to happen. I know this is funny because I tell you sometimes how amazing this meditation is, that it changes everything. And this is true. But it does so by itself. If you expect something, you're not meditating. Don't expect anything. Just meditate because it's fun. Meditate because it's the easiest time you can have. This half an hour where you have no responsibility. You don't have to do anything right. You can just rest there, ignoring all the trouble, all the thoughts. You can ignore everybody, including yourself. You just rest up here in the lap of your soul. That's the most pleasant time you can possibly have. That's why you do it. Don't expect anything. Don't think about what will happen after that. That's the one thing. And the other thing is, you can't do it wrong. You will have thoughts that you do it wrong. You will. That's just the nature of the mind. But you can't do it wrong. And you don't have to change anything. You don't have to become spiritual or better or more enlightened or smarter. Yeah? You just stay the way you are. Don't expect anything and don't demand anything from yourself. You can just add this meditation. And then you meditate every day without expectation. Tomorrow again, without expectation. And do it every day. This is the important thing. Regularity. This is really important. And I want to tell you why this is. You see, for 24 hours a day, you give attention to the thoughts and to the world and to your senses, to all the things which bring you away from you. That's all you know. And now, through the meditation, for the very first time, you start something completely new. Something you have never done before. You turn inwards. You turn into this space where you have no idea how to describe this. And everything will resist this. Your body will resist this. Your thoughts will resist this. Everything will resist this. And you cannot fight your thoughts. You cannot fight your body. The only thing you can do is stubbornly meditate every day for half an hour. That much you can do. Nothing else is needed, but this is needed. Every day. I meditated every day without any exceptions. One day I didn't meditate in these 7.5 years. One day. I had such a high fever. I don't know, 40.5 degrees Celsius fever. I was so sick. I was not able to sit. I was really, in fact, I thought I will die. I remember, it's a few years ago. But the next day I meditated again. It's possible and it's helpful. So meditate every day, no matter what you feel, no matter how you think. Yeah, you will have times where you think, oh, this is all stupid. I do it wrong. In my case, it doesn't work. This is normal. Sometimes this happens. Just keep meditating. And there's a second thing your mind will start doing. The gurus of the Himalaya who developed this meditation, they told Swamiji, this meditation has one fault, one problem. It's too easy. Maybe you laugh now, but you see, your mind loves everything which is complicated and difficult, because then the mind has something to do forever. But this meditation is too easy. You don't need to do anything. Nothing. And everything happens by itself out of this. That's what Jesus said. Yeah? Put God first. This is what you do during this meditation. Put God first. Everything will follow this. That's what happens through this meditation. But it's so easy that the mind will not be able to believe that this is worthwhile. Your intellect is not able to understand why this should be done. It will say, this is nice, but this can't be good. It's too easy. So just be prepared and keep meditating. Yeah. Swamiji also recommends to join a group meditation, if possible, once a week. He says it's important to meditate alone every day. I forgot to mention this earlier when you asked me how to properly do this meditation. The meditation you do in the morning, you do alone. Yeah? It's good if you have a room for yourself, a lot of space. If this is not possible, don't worry about it. Just do it any way you can. If you cannot meditate in the morning, meditate in the afternoon. If you can't meditate in the afternoon, meditate in the evening. It doesn't matter. As long as you meditate once a day. Yeah? That's also, Swamiji says this, don't make any problem out of it. Yeah? This meditation is so easy, so simple, but your head will start thinking, yes, I don't manage in the morning, but I should do it in the morning, so I can do it. This is just a trick of the mind. Do it the way you can, but do it. And everything else is not important. It doesn't matter, as long as you meditate. And then, if you can meditate once a week in a group, this is very, very helpful. When you meditate alone, your awareness, that's what Swamiji calls your chitta, gets stronger. Yeah. When you meditate in a group, something else happens. There you're being distracted. Yeah. People disturb you. People cough. You meet all these other funny people. And then you meditate there. And that's a totally different story. And this makes you strong in a different way. This makes you accepting. This makes you humble. This is very important. And you can do this, Swamiji calls this the collective meditation. You can do this meditation in a group, either in a meditation center, in every big city, in Germany or in the UK, and also in the United States, in many, many other countries, there are meditation groups for the Samarpan meditation, and you can go there and meditate together with the other people in the group. And if this is not possible for you, there are lovely online meditations everywhere in the world where you can join online. That's what I do. Here where I live out in the boonies. Here's no meditation group. I have to drive 1.5 hours one way for the next meditation group. So I only do this very rarely, but twice a week at least, I meditate online in a group. And this is lovely. This is so helpful. Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. And if you're in Germany, what I can recommend to you is to participate in an introduction. They do lovely introductions to the Samarpa meditation, an official introduction by those people authorized by Swamiji to do this. And you can also do this online. It's very simple. Of course, it doesn't cost anything. They do this Monday evenings. And it takes, I think, 45 minutes. And they tell you where the meditation comes from. And basically, they tell you everything I just told you. But they do it properly. Yeah. I'm sure I forgot a few things which should be said, but they don't forget this. They do it the right way. And if you participate in such an introduction, it does something. It's like, my feeling is, you receive a blessing, and it makes your meditation easier. That's why I recommend doing this. And it's fun. It's just a lovely thing to do this. It's free. If you want to do this, on my website, on the Samarpa meditation page of my website, I have collected all the links which bring you to the official websites where you find the official information about these things. And should you have trouble finding this, just write me an email. I will point you in the right direction. Thank you for asking. I really like speaking about this amazing blessing of the Samarpa meditation. Thank you, Michael. Oh, it's 9:30. Simone, do we have anything else?
No, I just want to read out feedback from Soul. Thank you for your answer, very helpful. And Anne, right, thank you for all your shares. I love the meditation and I always look forward to it.
Hello, Anne. How beautiful that you are here. I'm happy. Yeah, let me just look what I have here. I think we need to stop, but I want to read one more question. Very often during meditation, an overwhelming urge to go to the bathroom arises, usually 15 or 20 minutes into the meditation. Honestly, when the urge becomes really strong, it is impossible to be aware of anything else but this physical sensation, and the entire rest of the meditation is spent with battling this. Sometimes I simply feel that I cannot hold it, and I get up and go to the bathroom for a couple of minutes, and then I return to the meditation. Thank you. I really like these practical questions about the meditation, because this is exactly how it is. I mentioned earlier that when you start the meditation, your body will start resisting. And your mind, your thoughts will start resisting. The body simply is not used to sit still for half an hour and not do anything. The body is not used to this. And it will take any trick to get your attention, and it will do anything to get you moving. But this is all tricks. I mean, there are few people who really have a medical condition, and if they don't go to the bathroom, they just pee. There's nothing they can do. But you're not one of those. These people, they have diapers or something. Yeah. So what happens to you is the body trying to mess with you. I meditate since 7.5 years. Not once did I have to go to the bathroom during the meditation. Not once. It's a trick of your body, you know. And here's how you can deal with these things. Don't fight it. Just ignore it. Don't take it serious. Then it relaxes. I took a walk today. And when I started the walk, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I should go to the bathroom before I start, but it didn't really feel like it. But then I just took the walk. Everything was fine. I didn't have to go to the bathroom at all. But then I came back to the house. I opened the door and I put off my shoes. And all of a sudden, I had to go to the bathroom so urgently. A minute before there was nothing, but the body knows, oh, the toilet is just behind the next door. Now I can go to the bathroom, and there was the feeling. I could have gone for another hour. There wouldn't have been any problem. That's how the body is. And when you meditate, the body decides, I don't want to sit here. We get her moving. And I know how to get her moving. That's what the body does. So don't fight it. Just ignore it and come back here. Just ignore it as if it has nothing to do with you. And if you do this a couple of times, your body gets used to it. It's no problem. Thank you for your report. I love these questions because all these bodies are so funny, all these minds are so funny, and they have so many tricks. But in the meditation, it's about who is in charge for this half an hour. Who's in charge? That's the question. Your body can pee anytime he wants, anytime she wants, all day long. But in this half an hour, you are the boss. And you want to make sure that your body learns this. And you want to make sure that your mind learns this. Here, you are in charge. Thank you. Thank you for satsang. I love it. It's such a gift for me. You know, I don't do this for you. I just do this for myself. There's nothing better. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for this lovely evening. And if you want to see more on my website or on YouTube, you find a few videos from me. I invite you to subscribe to my newsletter. You will receive my newsletter every time I publish a new video. And if you want to get a little help in your daily meditation routine, I send out every morning at 6 o'clock German time, I send out what I call the morning moments for your soul. A little quote from one of the videos to remind you of what's important to you. And you can subscribe to this too, free of charge, of course. Yeah, you can find all this on my website. I invite you to go there and look around. If you feel like supporting what I do here, my free satsangs, my free videos, you can do so. I'm very happy for every single person who helps me do this by supporting me financially in some way. If you feel joy to do this, on my website, on the donate page, you find the information for this. In 2 weeks, there will be the next German online satsang, and in 4 weeks, there's the next English online satsang. And if you have questions, I'm totally happy to receive an email or a letter from you, and I will answer. Thank you so much for being here. I love you.